Orioles, the water park capital of the world. Started out to be a beautiful day here. We have 82 degrees. We have 85% humidity in Atlanta, Georgia. There were some thunderstorms in the area. I think we're okay for the rest of the day. Looks all right. I'm sure they'll just close the roof if rain comes. Never mind, they don't have a roof. Last night, it rained a lot, and it rained through the fourth and the fifth inning, but the Brewers came up off the deck and almost snatched one back from the Atlanta Braves. Minus some great defense by Atlanta, the Brewers would have won that game.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Dansby Swanson coming up big in the ninth inning, a leadoff double by Eric Thames. He got caught going to third base, and you know, the big hit by Orlando Arcia driving in a couple of runs to make it a one-run game, and that's kind of the way it's been for the Brewers. Win or lose, every game seems to be pretty close.
Well, the Braves won the game 5-4. Fultonavich got the win. He beat Jimmy Nelson yesterday. Vizcaíno with his first save. A couple of homers in the game, too. Keon Broxton hit number 12. Brandon Phillips hit number 6. So the Brewers are back at it today, trying to even up this series against a 42-year-old knuckleballer, R.A. Dickey, in his first year with Atlanta. Remember, he won a Cy Young Award in 2012 with the New York Mets, and then went to Toronto, and here he is as a member of the Braves.
Yeah, the Brewers haven't seen R.A. Dickey since 2014, and he has made 4 starts prior to this one here today. 2-1 record at .364 earned run average. Dickey has been very good here in Atlanta this year. He's got a 3-1 record at home this year, actually 4-1 with a .358 earned run average. And a lot of these Brewers, as we talked about on our open, have never seen a knuckleballer.
The Brewers line him up this way today. Craig Counsell has Keon Broxton in there for Eric Sogard in the leadoff spot. Eric Thames hits second, then Santana. In the middle it goes Travis Shaw. Hernan Perez will play second. Bandy gets the call behind the plate. And then the bottom 3 is Lewis Brinson, Orlando Arcia, and Matt Garza. On the injury front, as we mentioned, if you're just picking us up, Eric Sogard is out. A little bit of an elbow injury, got hit in the tricep yesterday, and he is available to play. The Brewers would love to not have to do that today. And Nick Franklin left yesterday's game with a right hamstring problem. So Brewers already have a short bench as it is, a 4-man bench, and 2 of them are a little beat up today. Ben May will call the balls and strikes. Ed Hickox at first. Jerry Meals is the crew chief out at second base, and then Chris Conroy, who had the plate last night, is over at third.
Well, we saw some tremendous defense by the Atlanta Braves last night, particularly late in the game. Let's check out the Braves as they line up defensively. Brought to you by Menards. Peterson, Enciarte, and Markakis in the outfield. Camargo at third. You got Dansby Swanson, really had a good ninth inning last night, helping to preserve that victory for Atlanta. Phillips and Adams on the right side, and Tyler Flowers gets the opportunity to catch a knuckleballer here this afternoon. The Atlanta Braves lead all of baseball in pass balls because of that knuckleball with 15.
And we're ready to go. First pitch of the ball game from Dickey is a knuckler, and it's in there for a strike. It is going to be fascinating to watch these Brewer hitters. As Rock mentioned, most have never seen a knuckleball ever in their careers. How they fare, that's a pretty good start. Keon Broxton turns one around, and a lead-off single against Dickey to get us going today.
Yeah, we talked about Keon on our open. Say he likes the ball down, and that knuckleball is going to end up down in the strike zone. Good swing to start the day. Now you got to make him get that knuckleball up in the zone, because if it starts around mid-thigh or at the knees, it's going to end up in the dirt. Got all day to wait back and decide whether you want to swing against Dickey.
So a man on for Eric Thames. Brewers have 2 lefties in the lineup today, Thames and Shaw, who are everyday players, and doesn't matter right-handed, left-handed, knuckleball or not. Now Dickey, as you just saw, has a very good move to first, and he handles the running game well. He's a big part of why it is difficult to steal against the Braves when he's on the mound.
Well, the other part of that is the catcher. I mean, you know, Dickey has to be quick to home plate because catcher has to concentrate, number one, to catch the baseball. That's normally something you don't think about behind home plate. It's just natural. But with the knuckleball, It takes a little bit longer to get rid of it if a guy's stealing, and so you might see the Brewers try to be aggressive today.
Broxton, a big base stealer, and Dickey, quick throw to first. Dickey will do all the little things necessary to try to prevent runners from advancing. He'll throw over, he'll step off, he fields his position very well, and so all of the things outside of actually throwing the ball to the plate, he is exceptional at. Even at 42 years of age, he is pretty spry off the mound as well and fields his position well.
And just watch the way Tyler Flowers sets up behind home plate. I mean, not even given a target. I mean, you got to keep the glove loose, ready to go either way. Already down on a knee, which makes it even more difficult to throw out base runners when a catcher is starting with a knee on the ground. It's a completely different animal catching a knuckleballer. It can be maddening.
Flowers had a good day at the plate, gets a call for Dickey today as Thames fouls one away. Eric comes into play batting .253 with 20 homers on the year, 40 runs batted in, typically hitting second in the Brewers batting order. Across Major League Baseball, Thames is fifth in homers. When you bring in the American leaguers, Aaron Judge hit number 26 earlier today, and the fantastic rookie of the New York Yankees continues to set the pace. Judge with 26, then it drops to 22, Bellinger and Logan Morrison, and there's a big group of players with 20 homers, including Thames.
I think everybody's waiting for the shoe to drop on Judge, but it just hasn't happened. I mean, he just stays hot.
Leading vote getter right now. You perform like he is in New York, you are certainly going to make a name for yourself quickly, and Aaron Judge has certainly done that, but so has Eric Thames in the National League. In the air to left field, hit pretty well. Backing up on it is Peterson, and he'll make the catch for the out. First out of the ball game as R.A. Dickey gets a fly out from Thames.
They just have to be loose in that batter's box, spread out a little bit, and just try and get on top of the baseball. 79 miles an hour, low 80s is basically what you're going to get out of Dickey. Fastball, about mid 80s. He'll throw a changeup once in a while. Really didn't have a slider or a curveball, but a lot of knuckleballers.
Here's Domingo Santana with one out. Broxton starting this game with a single up the middle, and Dickey paying a lot of attention to Keon. Santana sitting on 12 homers, OPS over 830 now. Hitting in the 3 spot for the Brewers while Ryan Braun has been out. Either Santana or Hernan Perez have occupied the 3 spot in the order. Brewers are hopeful to get their big bat back in Cincinnati, which will be the next series they play. Series that begins in Cincinnati Tuesday, and both Braun and VR, if everything checks out, are trending well. That was the closest play yet. Dickey almost got Broxton.
Yeah, very quick feet. And has that ball on its way to first base very quickly, almost before he sees the bag. Braves are taking a look at it. A jump move. And it looks like he's able to get back. Looked like he kind of slipped as he tried to return to first base.
He went out and smoothed that area up.
Well, how much time did they get, actually? Look at this.
That's what the Brewers bench was barking at home plate umpire about.
And Ben May barking right back.
And now the Brewers bench is getting after it with third base umpire Chris Conroy, and now the crew chief comes over, says something like, "We got a problem here," and he's thrown somebody out. I'm not sure who, but somebody's gone. I don't know if it was Counsell. I think it might be Nick Franklin, actually. And now Counsell's coming out, says he wants to have a chat with the umpire. Jerry Meals does not walk towards counsel. I do believe Franklin is the one ejected.
Yeah, Franklin staying in the dugout. He was up on that railing, pointing and screaming. Now you don't know what was said by Franklin. You don't know why the response from the umpiring crew.
So Nick Franklin is talking about the time, the 30 seconds. That's what the Brewers bench was barking at the umpires, because it's been a pretty strict count on the 30-second clock this year.
And that's the last thing that Craig Counsell wanted to see. I mean, Nick Franklin, again, he got removed yesterday with an injury, but looks like he's the one that's heading into the clubhouse. So the Brewers now with only 3 on the bench and maybe only 2 available. Sogard with a bad elbow.
Franklin left yesterday's game with a hamstring injury, so he is out. First career ejection for Nick Franklin.
Well, there's no reason for that either. I mean, if Craig Counsell wants to make a deal of it, it's up to him to do it, not a player. Especially when you only have 4 on the bench to start the game. Not a good move.
And even if you're not planning to use Franklin from the Brewers' perspective, you still want him to be an option and be available for the opposing manager to have to think about or deal with.
Yep.
But that option is gone. Franklin ejected.
Situation like that is in the hands of the manager. He's the guy that has to dictate whether he wants to make a point or not.
There is a small part of me that kind of likes the fact that all of the Brewers are up on the top of the rail as Santana bounces one to short, and Swanson cannot make the play, and that'll be a base hit for Santana. Infield hit. Boy, if only Swanson didn't make the plays last night that he made, the Brewers might have won that game. He was brilliant last night.
Yeah, that one right off the end of his glove. I think he was thinking more about the throw to second base than catching the baseball. Yeah, he made a real good play on Eric Thames going to third base on a ground ball that looked like it was headed up the middle, spun around and made a good throw to get Thames, eliminating or wiping out a leadoff double.
A game-changing moment yesterday in the ninth. So 2 men are on. Here's Travis Shaw. But anyway, Rock, getting back to the point, you look down at the Brewers dugout. We do these games every day. Tough loss, lopsided loss. These guys always come back, and they're always ready to play the next day. I think that is admirable in a lot of ways, and I guess you don't want a player getting involved with an umpire, but on the other side, kind of like the fact that they're all into the game so much that they know about the replay clock and taking exception to it.
Well, look at the difference between the Brewers and where they're sitting and where the Braves are sitting. The Braves are kind of all sitting down in the dugout. Had a couple of guys leaning up on the railing, but every one of the Brewers is up there.
Has been a very resilient team. They can shake the bad losses about as well as anyone. Travis Shaw looks like he's a little banged up, or something got tweaked after that last swing. Something grabbed him here.
Yeah, you can see, not sure what it is. He's taking a big swing on a knuckleball.
Runners take all. Pitches inside for a ball. Shaw saying it hit him, or at least asking if it hit him. That'll be a double steal for Broxton and Santana.
Yep, you have to concentrate so much in catching the baseball. Concentrate on that, and making a throw to the bases is secondary, and you get a good jump. Not too many catchers have been very good at throwing out base runners with a knuckleballer. I tell you, the best I ever saw was Butch Weiniger when he was catching Phil Niekro. He had a unique ability to be able to catch that knuckleball and make good throws to second base.
Well, the double steal sets up a base open at first. Shaw draws the walk, and now the Brewers with the bases loaded with 1 out in this first inning. Hernan Perez stepping into a big spot early. Perez gets the start at second base for Sogard today. And a wave and a miss for Perez. Oh, and to the count now. Perez has been mired in a bit of a slump recently. On the last homestand was just 4 for 21. He did homer in that series, in that homestand.
Yeah, those stretches typically don't last all that long with Perez. He's got such a nice swing.
No balls, 2 strikes. And that one's on the ground. Swanson ranges over, goes to third for the out, but a run will score. And so Hernan Perez with an RBI. The Brewers strike first this afternoon in Atlanta. Broxton scores the run, and for Perez, RBI number 32.
Yeah, good job just putting the ball in play. You don't want to overswing at any time with a knuckleballer out there. With 2 strikes, you try and put it in play and able to drive in a run.
So 2 men are out, first and second for Jet Bandy. Bandy finally broke out of a long slump at the plate. Hopefully a sign of things to come for Jet Bandy. He had been 0 for his last 24 before his last start against the Pirates, and had a base hit in that game to break the streak. Pulls that one down the line, foul. So Bandy right now with 2 hits in his last 40 at bats. Manny Pena has been catching more often lately. Pena has caught 5 of the last 6 games, as a matter of fact. Bandy in there with his chance against a knuckleballer.
Yeah, with a team that's scoring a lot of runs, you got to play the hot bat.
Runners take off. Dickey steps off. Brewers are calling for a balk as Shaw stays in a rundown and finally tagged out to end the inning. But the home plate umpire has come out, and I believe he agrees with the Brewers that that is a balk.
Well, Ed Hickox went over and started to talk to R.A. Dickey in the middle of that rundown. He was calling timeout, and it is going to be a balk.
Now, why wouldn't there be a more demonstrative call from the umpires there? You know, you could run into an injury or whatnot.
Well, the first base umpire did it. I mean, the home plate umpire Ben May really didn't see what was going on. But Ed Hickox, the first base umpire, right away did it. Nobody else saw him. They're in the middle of a rundown here, and it's all for naught. There was time called on the balk. He broke his, watch the way he comes back. See the knee jerk, right, and then he steps off.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a balk.
The knee, the bend in the knee, as if he was going to make a pitch to the plate.
Right.
I see it. What a strange inning this has been. Brewers have him at second and third now for Bandy, who takes a ball outside.
But it appeared that Ed Hickox, the first base umpire, the only one that saw it.
I heard one balk call. And then you figured at that point, if it's a balk, just keep saying it.
Right.
Last thing anybody wants to do is get in a rundown, especially Travis Shaw, who looked like he might have tweaked something in the leg. And he's just in a rundown while the whole thing's going on here.
Imagine that. Crazy happenings with a knuckleballer on the mound. You're going to see this all day.
Yeah.
You're going to see swings you've never seen before. And Dickey's been so good here at home this year, 4-1, and he barely breaks 80 miles an hour with that knuckleball.
Ouch. Is that a foul ball? It is. Got a piece of the bat.
You see barely a rotation as that ball gets to home plate. And that's why the ball moves. And odd ways as it comes into home plate.
Brewers on the board, 1-0. Second and third with 2 outs, 2-2 the count on Bandy. And down he goes, a strikeout to end the inning. What a weird inning that was. Had an ejection, we had a balk. Brewers do score, however. 1-0 Crew as the Braves are coming up for the first time. Scoring on R.A. Dickey, who threw 25 pitches in that first inning. RBI from Hernan Perez. And here we go to the bottom of the first. Matt Garza is on the mound. The Braves batting order looks like this, with Inciarte, Phillips, and Markakis. Matt Adams, Tyler Flowers, and Dansby Swanson in the middle. Johan Camargo, who made a game-saving play yesterday. He'll be at third base again, the switch hitter. Chase Peterson gets his first start of this series. He's in left, and then R.A. Dickey will round it out. And Rocket is Matt Garza Day on the mound. The veteran right-hander makes his 11th start and a 4.42 ERA.
Yeah, having a rough month of June. He's 1-1, but a 5.65 earned run average. Took a loss his last time out against the Pirates. And this is his 9th career start against the Atlanta Braves. He got a 4-3 victory earlier this year at Miller Park against Atlanta. Let's check out the Menards defense for the Brewers. You got Brinson, Broxton, Santana, Shaw, Arcia, Perez, Thames from third to first. Jet Bandy behind home plate. Brewers committed a couple of errors in last night's game.
That long rangy outfield of the Milwaukee Brewers. All three of those guys have great size. Good front court. 6'5", 6'3.5", and 6'5" across the board. Garza with 2 stints on the disabled list. Last time he was just out for a little over a week with the chest contusion. Had a collision with Jesus Aguilar at first base. More significant injury came early in the year when he injured his groin, and he was injured in spring training, missed the start of the season, did not return until the 23rd of April. And so that game, Rock reference against Atlanta, was just his 2nd start of the season. Went 6 2/3 and 3 runs against the Braves in that game. And now making start number 11. Inciarte, the leadoff hitter, takes a strike.
Yeah, Garza's had a difficult time with the big inning lately, particularly in the first inning. Last 2 starts has given up a combined 6 runs in the first inning. Got to come out of the bullpen sharp here today.
Inciarte drops a bunt down. Shaw makes the play. Throw to first is dug out by Thames.
Oh, that's a beautiful play by Travis Shaw. Apparently nothing wrong with him. Imperative that Shaw makes that play and not Matt Garza. Garza has a difficult time fielding his position. Yeah, going toward third base. Pretty good bunt, but Shaw waiting for it. He was playing even with the bag. saw it right away, calls off Garza and gets the out. Well done.
Good play, Travis Shaw. And more importantly, looks pretty nimble. What a great pick by Thames, too.
No kidding. I mean, he has been money, hadn't he, on those short hops?
Shaw looked like he might have tweaked something at the plate in the first inning, but seems okay. He's been excellent. Has not committed an error since late April. Here's Brandon Phillips. Hit the first pitch he saw yesterday out for a home run. Phillips now with 6 homers on the year, hitting .303. He's making a strong push for an all-star nod. Longtime Cincinnati Red. Came up with the Indians. Was never the player with Cleveland that he was with Cincinnati. He made himself not just a Gold Glover, but an all-star. And first ball he saw from Jimmy Nelson, he turned it around at the .385 mark for home run number 6.
Yeah, this is an offense that likes to hunt fastballs early in the count, as we talked about in our open. Now, Matt Garza's got to be able to figure out something else to throw first pitch for a strike.
Career numbers against the Brewers in all those years in Cincinnati, of course, had so many games against Milwaukee, but hit his 24th home run against the Brew Crew last night. Only Pittsburgh, a ball club, an opponent that he has homered more against. 1-2 pitch, and Phillips fouls it away. Phillips had the pull home run, then he had an opposite field double in the right center field gap last night that stretched the Atlanta lead. And it turns out they needed that stretch in the lead as well, as the Brewers scored 3 of their 4 runs in the 7th and 8th innings. Andy wants one upstairs, a fastball. And the 1-2 pitch. Fastball lined into right field, a base hit. Phillips able to get to it, and he singles.
Anywhere you throw a fastball to that guy is going to be able to barrel it up. This guy can hit the fastball. I don't care how hard it is. He got it up there. He just didn't have enough on it, and Phillips able to muscle it into right field, just out of the reach of Perez, who was playing deep at second.
He is a great bad ball hitter, and he just took a high fastball and shot it to right. That's about as balanced of a spray chart as you can get. So a man on with one away. Here's Nick Markakis now. Going to see a ton of lefties in the Braves lineup today. They're loaded up. 4 lefties and the switch hitter Camargo. So 5 of the 9 will bat off the left side against Garza. Curveballs popped up. Markakis out in front, and it'll be Arcia to make the call and the catch for out number 2.
That is going to be an important pitch. That Garza curveball is very good to start the season. Last couple of starts he struggled with it, and to get it down in the strike zone. That was a good one right there, over the plate, down, and had Markakis out in front, 71 miles an hour, down around the knees.
A little change of pace with that curveball. 2 gone for Matt Adams. Adams with 13 homers, 38 driven in. He has found the sweet spot here in Atlanta. Hit just 1 home run with the Cardinals. That home run actually came here in Atlanta, and the other 12 has come as a member of the Braves. A little bit of a under the radar deal. Adams has been a big name because he's been on a number of terrific postseason teams for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, but wasn't playing a lot with the Cardinals, especially this year with Matt Carpenter playing first base.
He played 31 games with St. Louis, but only had 53 plate appearances. So that compares to 32 games with the Braves and 139 plate appearances. And he's got a base hit. He has just been a tough out. The confidence is sky high for Matt Adams. And 2 hits in the inning. Garza in trouble here in the first with 2 on and 2 out.
Yeah, waited back nicely on a breaking pitch. Actually, changeup, 82 miles an hour, the changeup, and just kind of nice easy swing, levels it out into center field. He's seeing it well right now. Pulling the ball, shooting the off-speed stuff back through the middle.
Braves have been going along pretty well here on this homestand. They're in the middle of a 10-game homestand, and they are 6-2 right now. They won a series from the Marlins, 2 out of 3, beat the Giants 3 out of 4, including an extra inning win Wednesday, and then outlasting the Giants in a long rain delay on Thursday night. And then they won yesterday in the opener against Milwaukee.
And they're getting contributions from a lot of different guys in the lineup, particularly this guy. Tyler Flowers, a catcher, having a nice year offensively.
Two on, 2 out. Flowers swing and a miss. He was late. Flowers had 2 hits yesterday, was 2 for 4 during this successful homestand for Atlanta. Flowers is swinging it very well. 6 for 19 at the plate, has a couple of home runs. Oh, and 2 the count.
Hey, good 2-seamer right in on his fists. First 2 pitches fastballs, throwing right by him.
Feels like the Brewers starting pitching core has had their first inning troubles here lately. A lot of high stress pitches in the first. Nelson had the same yesterday. These are always important innings to start a game. You want to try to jump off nice and smooth, get a 3-up 3-down inning. They say, pitchers will tell you, that the first inning, coming out of the bullpen, you're charged up, the adrenaline's flowing. If you get into a long first inning, it can take a lot more out of you than if that long inning would come later.
Yeah, particularly when it's hot and humid like it is today. They haven't settled into the game quite yet.
And it's not so much the pitches that you're throwing and trying to plow your way through an inning like you would any other inning, but it's more the mental side of it. Talking to Derek Johnson and Jason Lane, among others, those who have experienced that. When a pitcher comes out of the bullpen to start a game in the first inning, you're always trying to figure out, is my stuff good enough right now? What is working? Is the fastball good? Is the curveball? So you're in this exploratory mode in the first inning, and when you've got to dial it up and try to prevent runs from scoring, it can sometimes rattle a pitcher a little bit.
Yeah, that and the fact, how many times have we said that you don't believe in momentum day to day, but starting pitcher establishes momentum for your club in that first inning. And the Brewers in each of the last 2 games, before today, have given up runs in the first inning. Even more important when your team puts a run on the board in the top of the first on the road.
So the count 3-2 now. Runners go, and a base hit up the middle. And a run's going to score as Brandon Phillips is in. 2 out, 2 strike, RBI single by Tyler Flowers, and we're all tied at 1.
Well, 3 straight games, first inning runs against the starting rotation. Yeah, Garza got ahead of Flowers quickly with fastballs. Fastballs in, good 2-seamers. Got to a full count, went with a breaking ball. That one stayed up, out over the plate, and Flowers goes right back through the middle, so we're all tied up. Talked about on our open some of the keys for Matt Garza. Avoid the big inning and keep that breaking pitch down in the zone.
Now first and second with 2 outs still. Here is Dansby Swanson now. R.A. Dickey threw 25 pitches in the first inning. Garza sitting on 21. Swanson fouls it away. It's a big player in the Braves' future right here. 23-year-old Dansby Swanson made his debut last year. 38 games in the big leagues. He hit .302 last year for Atlanta. He's from the area. He's from Marietta, Georgia. Played his college ball at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was the school that Derek Johnson, the Brewers pitching coach, served so well, and knows Swanson very well. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swanson takes a ball high.
Yeah, Swanson's been swinging the bat much better. Early in the season, he couldn't buy a hit. It was hard for him to reach base, and I think the Braves are getting a little bit concerned about him, but much better as of late, starting to figure it out.
And a rough start defensively as well, with the 12 errors, which is the most in the league. But what we saw last night is why the Braves are so high on him. He can make these spectacular plays. A swing and a miss, and it's 2-2 now.
Yeah, good changeup right there on a 2-1 count. That's how you get back into a count right there. Fastball situation, you pull the string. Good choice.
Swanson was the first pick, the 1-1, the first overall pick by the Diamondbacks in 2015. And then traded prior to last season from Arizona to Atlanta. And back in the deep south is Swanson. Little jam shot. Arcia is right there. And that will retire the side. But the Braves get their run back. They get 3 hits. We're all tied at 1. Off and running. We go to the second inning from Atlanta. noon on a Saturday in Atlanta. Now time for our car soup scoop from the clubhouse. Eric Sogard, Nick Franklin, Lewis Brinson, all sustaining some level of injury yesterday. Brinson is back in the starting lineup here today. He'll lead off for the Brewers. He was hit on the hand in yesterday's game, but Eric Sogard is out with an elbow injury. Down on the back of the elbow in the tricep area. Is available. Brewers would prefer not to use him. Nick Franklin left yesterday's game with a hamstring injury and was ejected in the first inning today. So
yeah,
he's not available.
Yeah, left yesterday with a hamstring and got thrown out in the first inning. So he left this game too.
He must really like the clubhouse here in Atlanta, which the players are raving about.
It is nice, isn't it? A lot of room.
Lewis Brinson in the air, right field, hit pretty well. Back is Markakis for the first out of the inning. We had a chat with Keon Broxton in our Brewers Live pregame today. He was great. He's heard a lot of questions about what he thinks about the new stadium in Atlanta. I asked him that because his first hit came at Turner Field, his first big league hit. So I figured that was a sentimental loss. And he went into this whole thing about how great the clubhouse, the food, the bathrooms are really nice.
Nothing about the field.
Nothing about the field. No, he did say the field's beautiful. And Keon's got a lot of family and friends here from Florida.
Did he ask you what you thought of it?
No, didn't come up really.
Kind of a one-way Q&A type
it's
thing.
I'm the one who asks the questions.
Right. Nobody cares what you think.
I'll be asking the questions around here from now on. That's the way the last 2 days have gone. There's a shot right to third. Camargo makes a catch. Arcia, who doubled in a couple of runs last night on a very similar batted ball. Nothing to show for it here today.
Isn't it amazing how much he's pulling the baseball these days? That knuckleball in right at Camargo. Didn't barely have to move. Yep, this reaches out.
This guy's playing good. He's hitting the ball. It's going along well at third base defensively. There's been a lot of chatter about Freddie Freeman coming back as a third baseman when he returns from the broken hand. But Johan Camargo can hold his own defensively. He made two really nice plays yesterday.
And robbed Aguilar of a game tying and maybe even a base hit that might have given the Brewers a lead. Turned it into a double play.
0-2 the count on Garza. Little chopper ranging over and bobbling is Camargo, and he recovers in time to get Garza for the out. 3 up, 3 down. Dickey works quickly through the Brewer second inning. All tied at 1 here in Atlanta. Braves are coming up.
Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Turned out to be a nice Saturday afternoon here in Atlanta after we had some rains yesterday. All tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the second. Located on over 600 acres, the Wilderness Hotel and Golf Resort features plenty. A variety of lodging options, and 4 outdoor and 4 indoor water parks for all ages are available. You can even tan year-round thanks to the see-through roof at Wild Water Dome. You and I should go tan there, Rock, at some point.
Yeah. You should go there. I haven't been there in a while. I should go back. There's a lot for adults, and I remember staying in the Dells, when my son was playing hockey not that long ago. We used to stay at one of the hotels that had the water parks, and even in the winter.
Did you ever tan?
I'm not allowed to tan anymore.
Our gang's all at the Dells. Craig Kashan, Jerry Augustine, Sophia Menard. And our expanded coverage, 1 hour pre-games each day while we are here in Atlanta. And the Brewers and the Braves all tied at 1. Not to leave Jeff Grayson out. He's a professional tanner himself, and he is in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studio, so he is covering those bases from the comforts of the studio. Those folks at the Dells cannot be trusted. We have aspirations for them and expectations, but they are at the Dells, and we understand there might be some variance.
So what do you think they're doing between the pregame and the postgame?
I'm sure they're locked into the game with every pitch.
They're watching?
I don't know. Probably going down a water slide or on a duck tour or something.
Maybe on
like
their
that.
phone as they careen down a water slide.
Johan Camargo leads off for Atlanta, gets out in front of one, and a high pop-up in the infield. And Shaw makes a catch, dealing with the mound, out number 1.
Hey, all fans at Miller Park for the Brewers showdown with the Marlins on Sunday, July 2nd. We'll get the highly accurate Zach Davies bobblehead, complete with forearm tattoo and special 4th of July uniforms, courtesy of Clemens Sausage. Head to Brewers.com to reserve your spot today.
Did you add those words, or is that what it says?
I don't add anything to these. I've tried that before, and I've gotten in big trouble.
The highly accurate Zach Davies bobblehead. As opposed to what? Lowly accurate.
Inaccurate. I mean, what they mean is they have the forearm tattoo.
Okay.
The Davies forearm tattoo. It's accurate.
Okay. Oh, it's so
the bobblehead without the forearm tattoo would not be accurate.
Not be highly inaccurate. Highly accurate. Well, the beauty is in the details, I suppose. I thought you were adding a little analysis on the bobblehead, which was going to be big league if you were.
No. Take no credit for that. I have learned, it's all right for me to eliminate words, but I dare not add words.
Yeah, that never ends well, does it?
No.
Well, you're off to a great start, partner, regardless. Bouncing ball to second base. Perez has it. Out number 2.
We haven't gotten any pictures from the crew over at the Dells Zone. We usually get pictures, guys floating around in pools.
In the water parks.
Group pictures.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right. Well, we'll have to work on that.
I did get a picture of Craig Kashan today, fully clothed with a life jacket on.
A highly accurate.
Did you see that one?
Life jacket. I did. That's smart. Got to be smart. Problem was he wasn't on anything that required a life jacket. He was just sitting at the desk.
About 100 yards from a pool.
Just in case
and the caption
that pool wants to come creep up on him.
Yeah, I got that from Sophia today, and it said safety first for kids and adults at the Dells. And I'm not going to tell you what I responded with.
Garza has Dickey 0-1 and a swing and a foul on a curveball.
No, it is. We're just jealous we're not there.
We could call a game from one of those boats. Oh, and 2 the count. And a curveball. Dickey bounces one back to the mound. Garza will underhand it over to first base to end the inning. Good comeback inning for Matt Garza. 3 up, 3 down on 8 pitches. Park, the new home of the Atlanta Braves. The can't miss event of the summer hits South Beach this year. It's baseball's biggest stars. They take the field for MLB All-Star Game July 11th only on Fox. How many Brewers will make it to the Midsummer Classic? It's going to be a very colorful All-Star Game, I promise you that. That's a really cool ballpark, actually. I like going to Miami. It feels very Miami, that ballpark.
Yeah, it does.
You know, you couldn't put a ballpark like that in Boston or in Milwaukee, or it just wouldn't work.
A lot of bright colors.
Yeah, it's cool. It's great.
I agree.
Looks like a giant spaceship.
Perfect
and
for that city.
They have a roof and air conditioning. We're all about that. Keon Broxton will lead off for the Brewers. He is the leadoff hitter today. Broxton singled and scored in the first inning. Kind of a wild start to this game. Brewers were able to score in the first. There was an ejection in the first. Nick Franklin was thrown out. Santana had a base hit as well. There were 2 hits and a walk in the inning. Perez drove in the run with a fielder's choice. Nick Franklin was sitting on the bench arguing at the third base umpire about the length the time the Braves were taking to look at a review, and got himself tossed. Not something you see every day.
No.
Especially in the top of the first inning.
Especially when, you know, Craig Counsell, your manager's not nearly as upset.
There's a shot into left field, a base hit, and Keon Broxton with 2 hits. 2 singles for the Brewer leadoff man.
Usually in an instance like that, you kind of play off your manager or your coaching staff. But Franklin really got upset about it. There's that knuckleball up and in. And Broxton able to, you know, center on it, pound it into left field, his second hit. We got 2 knuckleballers left in baseball, right? The guy in Boston, right? He's hurt though.
Yep, the Tim Wakefield had been the only one for a long time post Necro. He retired in 2011, did Wakefield.
Well, we had Phil Necro, Joe Necro. Joe Necro threw a knuckleball, but also threw a lot of other different stuff. Charlie Huff. Tom Candiotti was a knuckleballer. I called him in the minor leagues.
Just Stephen Wright and R.A. Dickey now.
There's Phil. Phil Necro, I faced him when he was with the Yankees, and Butch Weiniger, I mentioned his name beforehand, and Weiniger really did a heck of a job catching that knuckleball. Not an easy thing to do.
There's a fly ball by Thames into left field. Almost an exact replica of his fly out in the first. Well, most wins by knuckleball pitchers. Phil Necro is at the top of the list, a 300-game winner. Ted Lyons, back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, long career. Phil's brother Joe, 221 years, and then more contemporary with Charlie Huff, and then Jesse Haynes. And I love the statue of Phil Necro they have here. Look at the grip on the knuckleball.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Now that is highly authentic. Highly accurate.
And knuckleballer back in the day, Hoyt Wilhelm.
Yeah. So we hit the air today, at least on the pregame show, talking about the Brewers. Hardly any of these guys, I can't imagine anybody that comes to mind that has faced a knuckleball pitcher. So what was the approach for you when you first faced a knuckleball?
I mentioned, I'll tell this story on Brewers Live pregame today, and my first experience against a knuckleballer at the plate was Phil Necro in Yankee Stadium. He struck me out 4 times. Next time I faced a knuckleballer was Charlie Huff. That was at County Stadium. He was with the Rangers at the time. And before the game, before my first at bat, I told Rob Deere, I'm going to take a strike. I'm just going to stand there. I'm going to see the ball into the glove, because I had no clue against Phil Necro. Knuckleball comes fluttering in. I swing at it for some reason, hit it out of the ballpark. I think
on a take.
Well, I think the bottom line is, when you're feeling hitterish up there at the plate and you're being aggressive, a lot of times you're going to overswing and swing too early. You have all kinds of time to swing. So I see that pitch, it's coming in, and I say, that's a pretty good pitch. And swing at it, take a nice easy swing, and it jumped out of the ballpark. It hit 2 home runs that day.
That's amazing that, for you guys, for big league players, you're having this conversation in your brain while a pitch is coming to you.
Right.
But it's fluttering through quickly. Oh, no, that looks good. I'm going to swing.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I think the bottom line is, and what I was saying on the pregame, you have so much time to decide whether you want to swing or not. You're talking about your frame of reference is what, 95, 97 miles an hour? These days, these guys are fluttering in there at 80.
Santana sends one slicing foul to right.
And I was talking to Jason Lane around the batting cage, and I was telling him that story, and he said he did the same exact thing one time, but it wasn't a knuckleballer. It was Aaron Harang. So there was a couple of men on. He said he was facing Harang. It was a 3-0 pitch. He says, I'm not swinging at this. I'm just going to, bases loaded, I think. And all of a sudden, the pitch is coming in. He said he swung at it, hit it out of the ballpark.
Just trusting instincts, right? Take your brain away.
Nice and easy. Just, not trying to do too much. And
there's a bouncing ball to third. Santana goes, or rather Camargo to second, over to first, and a double play. This kid can play over there at third base. That was in and out of the glove of Johan Camargo in a flash. And turns it into a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. Nice pick at first by Adams. audiences from around the world. This year's 90-minute show features a mix of extreme water skiing, masterful boat maneuvers, lighthearted comedy, and daredevil stunt artist on stage, on the water and high in the sky. The Tommy Bartlett Show at the Dells. Legendary entertainment in Wisconsin in the summertime. We are tied at 1, bottom of the 3rd inning from Atlanta. By the way, our crew has chimed in, Rock. They have pictures from the Dells with some friends. The famous racing sausages have arrived as well. Jerry, Sophia, Craig Kashan. We'll be hearing from them a little bit later. Garza back to work here in the 3rd inning. Top of the order is coming up. Inciarte, Phillips, and Markakis. Both pitchers have settled down since a rocky 1st inning. Garza giving up 3 hits and a run in the 1st. Tyler Flowers had the RBI. Oh, and to the count. Inciarte, little half swing, got to hustle it over. Shaw, bare hands, throws, not in time.
And not going to get to him. He runs well. A little excuse me swing. Shaw behind the bag, and that'll be the first leadoff base runner for the Atlanta Braves today. Kind of a check swing on a curveball in off the plate. And with his speed, he makes it easily. Didn't mean to, but it ended up pretty good for Inciarte.
You get a base hit on a ball like that and a swing like that, you know you're going well. Nothing Shaw could do. He made a good play. Inciarte too fast. And he's at first to lead off this 3rd inning. That'll bring up Brandon Phillips. Phillips had a no trade clause that comes with a player that has 10 years in the league and 5 with the same team. They call it 10 and 5 rights, and he vetoed a trade prior to last season that would have sent him to the Washington Nationals. Decided to stay in Cincinnati, but he was good with the trade to Atlanta.
He finished his career near home. And I think the Washington Nationals landed on their feet as well with Daniel Murphy.
Phillips still feels like he's got a lot of good baseball in him. Playing at age 36 this year. That's a close play at first. Garza does not throw over often. And runners normally take big leads off him. But this is about as close as Garza's made one in a while.
That's a nice throw, too. They take a little extra lead thinking he's not going to throw over. Maybe he'll step off, but that was a good throw at a first base. Made it close.
Still a big lead. Phillips spent 11 years with the Reds. Had some playoff seasons in there as well. Won 4 Gold Gloves as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. 3 times an All-Star with them. First year as a Brave.
And never met a fastball he didn't like. Imperative if anybody in this lineup that you throw something other than a fastball to, it's this guy, particularly early in the count. Tried to throw a high fastball at 2 strikes his first time up. He shot it into right field.
1 ball, 1 strike. Inciarte with a big lead at first, and Garza Steps off. The thing about Phillips here in Atlanta, so his salary this year is $14 million. 13 of that $14 million is being paid by the Reds.
So a good deal for the Braves.
Boy, I guess so. They did have to give up a couple of players in the deal, prospects. That's essentially how clubs think about it too. Because on one end you look at it and say, well, why are the Reds paying just about all of his $14 million salary? Well, the reason is because you put value on players, minor league players, prospects and whatnot. And when the numbers match, would you pay $13 million for 2 players if it was in a draft or to acquire them? Phillips turns Allen around. That's deep into left, and that one is not coming back. 2-run home run by Phillips. Three to 1 Atlanta. Brandon Phillips homering in his 2nd consecutive game. Gives him 7 for the year. And the Braves are up a pair in this 3rd inning.
And another pitch up in his zone. That looked like a slider that just kind of spun up there and right down the middle of the plate. And he gave it a ride. Ain't no doubter to left. Yeah, I'd say he's got some good baseball left in him.
No question. So now 25 career home runs against Milwaukee. 16th season in the big leagues for Brandon Phillips. So Garza will start anew here in the 3rd. 2 runs are in. Nick Markakis, the Braves 3-hole hitter. He's having a good year batting average wise. He's driving in some runs as well. And he hits out sharply into center field.
Getting a little too much of the plate is Matt Garza, and really doesn't have the velocity or the stuff to get away with it. And fastball out over the plate, and Markakis able to barrel it up. 41 RBI, a lot of RBIs for only 3 home runs.
Yeah,
so
right.
He apparently has been very good. Runners in scoring position.
Braves have been scoring a lot of runs here lately. Their offense is clicking right now. And here's a big bat in that lineup, Matt Adams. 3 to 1 Braves. Scoring twice in this 3rd inning, and Adams sends one high in the air to right. That'll stay playable for Santana. And the first out of the inning for Matt Garza.
Well, a reminder that the 4th 5-County Friday of the season is coming up on Friday, June 30th. Yeah, the Marlins head to Milwaukee to open up a weekend series with the Crew, and because it's a 5-County Friday at Miller Park, tickets are 50% off for all residents of the 5-County area.
Well, we encourage you to maybe take a trip to Appleton tonight. Timber Rattlers are in action. Ryan Braun and Jonathan Villar will both be in the lineup for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. It's a beautiful ballpark right off the highway. Easy little drive up there. Villar is going to lead off. He'll play second base. Braun will hit 3rd and be the designated hitter.
I was up at that ballpark last summer on an off night. Went up. We were pitching a book, you know.
Oh, that's right.
They asked us to come up.
Trying to imagine why you would be doing that, but now it makes perfect sense.
Drew Olson and I were up there and had a good time.
It's a great spot.
Saw my buddy Jeff Paxson, the head trainer over there with the Timber Rattlers.
A familiar fantasy camp athletic trainer.
Right, yeah. Got a nice facility up there. If I recall, they had a pretty good grilled cheese sandwich up there that it's like Texas toast, a lot of cheese, bacon. I think there's brisket in there.
Maybe a little butter.
Pax told me I needed to try one of those, so I did. It was well worth the calories.
Okay, nice. Well, we can always count on you for a culinary update. Bouncing ball, Thames backhands it, and he'll go to first for the second out.
It's not polite to turn down free food.
Amen. Free, it's for me. That's the media creed.
Yep.
Give me 3.
Except in this press room. You don't want to eat there.
Well, we miss Miller Park and our people so much. It almost feels like Chef Seth is in our presence right now.
Yeah. It's like he's always with us.
As if he's standing right behind me, tempting me with some kind of artistic concoction. In case you're wondering, and I know you are out there, Rock and I went for the pulled pork today and the chopped brisket. Excellent. Did you go for the spicy sauce, Rock, or did you go
just regular?
Just regular. That makes sense. A man your age. Swanson takes a ball down and away. Delicious. We are going to need a workout program when we get to Cincinnati, because they know how to treat us here in Atlanta. We've had to go off the grid here in Atlanta. The press dining needs some work, but the everything else dining,
yeah, it's great,
is fantastic.
Yep.
And we're just like vacuums up here. Whatever you bring. You know how those comedians travel, the professional laughers?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we do for chefs, because we eat everything and we like everything way more than we should.
Right. Again, I mean, you have to be polite. You got to try everything. You don't have to eat the whole thing, but you got to try it.
Can't believe I ate the whole thing. 1 ball, 1 strike on Dansby Swanson. Braves have a 3-1 lead, 2 outs in the inning. Got a runner at second, Markakis, and Swanson fouls it away. There is a lot of baseball being played today across the big leagues, as you would imagine on a Saturday. Everybody's in action. The Cubs are in Miami today, and the Cubs have just tied that game at 3. They were down 3-1. Top of the 4th inning from Marlins Park, and the Marlins and the Cubs are all even up. Nicolino and Lester in that game. Swanson fouls another one away.
Does it surprise you that the Giants took it on the chin last night after their travel schedule, after being here in Atlanta a couple of nights ago?
So the Giants played the Braves in Atlanta. They had a 90-minute rain delay. They had a really long game as it was. And the bus driver that's driving the bus right now for the Brewers drove the Giants, said he dropped them off at about 2 a.m. in Atlanta.
Right.
They flew to San Francisco.
Right.
Played a game last night against the Mets.
Got beat 11-4. No surprise.
20 hits the Mets had last night. Ouch. Giants DFA'd Aaron Hill today. So I'm guessing Aaron had to go on the trip, and he goes to the late night travel, and then he shows up in San Francisco. Glad to be home, get some rest.
See you later.
You're out.
It was a tough day for former Brewers yesterday. Chris Carter.
K-Rod.
K-Rod, yeah.
A couple of days ago, Frankie Rodriguez with the Tigers.
But baseball has to look into that. I mean, a night game here in Atlanta, fly all the way across country and then play a game the next day. I think that a little excessive. Maybe a day game here in Atlanta might have been called for.
Full count, 2 outs to Swanson. On the ground, Garza's got a cover. Thames will take it himself, and the side is retired. The Braves get 2 on a 2-run home run by Brandon Phillips. Oh yeah, a little burger action. H&F Burgers, they're the best here in Atlanta. SunTrust Park in Atlanta. Travis Shaw will lead off for the Brewers in this 4th inning, and Travis Shaw certainly all-star worthy. Look what he's done this year. He's 10th in the National League in RBIs, has 51 ribbies for the year. He's up there top 10 in the league in doubles as well. He's played a great third base, and the fact that he has done all of this over the last few weeks with the situation back home with his brand new baby girl, who is going through a very difficult time trying to recover from 2 open heart surgeries. She was born with a heart defect, and it has been incredible to watch, inspirational to watch.
It's amazing how he's been able to focus going through all that. Tunnel vision when he gets to the ballpark.
He says it has put everything in its proper perspective, and that's probably what every ball player tries to do. I give him a lot of credit. His wife Lindy and his family have been there in Milwaukee. Travis did say getting on the plane was very difficult. It's hard to be away from home, and you can imagine.
And sometimes it's hard even when everything's going well, let alone when you're having issues, you know, back at home. All the players go through it, but Travis got a little bit extra on his plate these days.
Two the count on Shaw. Perez to follow, then Bandy. Braves up 3-1 on the Brandon Phillips 2-run homer. Brewers scored in the 1st inning. Braves answered in the bottom of the 1st. Matt Garza's given up 3 runs on 6 hits through the first 3 innings. Feels like a day when the Brewers are going to need to score some runs. Trying to get to the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. There's a floater in there, and it's fouled away.
I remember talking with Tom Candiotti when I was catching him, you know, in AAA in Vancouver. He was working on a knuckleball, and he would always tell me it's best when it's hot and humid and the wind is blowing out. When the wind's in his face.
Ground ball to second. Phillips will make the play on Shaw. So you need the wind blowing out. That's interesting. A pitcher wanting the wind to blow out.
It's like a plane taking off, right? The plane doesn't take off, with the wind. They take off into the wind to get that lift, and the ball will float around and flutter more when you're, pitching into the wind. Not so much, in the big leagues. I mean, you got these big grandstands. I don't know how much wind is actually, in their face, but I think it's pretty much the same way.
Well, Dickey's got the humidity he likes then, because it is extremely humid. 85% humidity here in Atlanta.
I remember Blyleven telling me it's tougher to throw his curveball when the wind was blowing in as well.
Same principle, I guess. Perez skies one to center. This will be Inciarte for out number 2.
Now you're talking about a pretty stiff breeze. We're not just talking about just a little bit of breeze, but you get that lift. Flowers has done a pretty good job with him today. Haven't seen him box too many.
Catcher started going to those overgrown gloves in the 60s.
More like a first baseman's mitt.
Yeah, the combo between a first baseman's mitt and a catcher's mitt. Did you use, because Candiotti threw everything, so did you use a bigger glove?
Yeah, I did.
With Candiotti?
He didn't throw that hard, his fastball, but he would carry it around. Knuckleballers usually, as they go from team to team, will bring a glove with them. See how big that thing is, and it's more like the first baseman's glove, and you can see that Flowers doesn't really give a target. He gets down on that one knee, just kind of hangs the glove down like that, just keeping the hand loose.
Well, Bandy strikes out, fires the bat. Dickey with a 3-up, 3-down inning, and his second strikeout, and we head to the bottom of the 4th.
Is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer.
Having a little fun here, Battery, Atlanta, and Cobb County, brand new ballpark. 3-1 Braves have the lead. Now, Brewers wives play an important role in our community outreach efforts with their commitment to several important causes. Each summer, Brewers wives team up with Brewers Community Foundation to raise funds through a number of special events with proceeds to various organizations in greater Milwaukee. And we should say hello to our wives, Michelle, Kate.
Yeah. Keep the home fires burning, don't they?
Well, we're calling these games on the road. We appreciate all they do as well. And players and coaches' wives, they do great work in the community with Katina Shaw, Cecilia Gore, and the Brewers Community Foundation.
Couldn't do it without them.
Matt Garza back to work as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning.
Actually, Kate's got a birthday tomorrow.
All right.
I'll make sure that she's watching tomorrow so that I wish her a happy birthday.
Well, if not, you can always say you did it yesterday. I'll vouch for you. Happy birthday, Kate.
Yep.
Johan Camargo starting it for Atlanta. Bottom of the fourth from SunTrust Park. Day 2 for the Brewers here in Atlanta. Braves won yesterday. Good game yesterday. The Brewers were a little shoddy defensively, but put up a rally late. There's a little liner that's going to fall fair. Awkward swing, but an extra base hit for Camargo.
Man, alive. Kidding me? I mean, that base hit by Inciarte right before the home run by Phillips, a little check swing. Camargo, I mean, that ball down and in, not a bad pitch, a curveball. Look at that swing. Talking about a cricket swing, huh? Almost like a golf swing right there, and dumps it down the line and right for a leadoff double. That's not easy to do.
Camargo returned to the Braves on June 2nd. He's been up here playing third base. He's probably aware of the situation with Freddie Freeman, who the Braves are considering bringing back as a third baseman, because Matt Adams is having such success at first. There's a big swing and a miss by Jace Peterson. And so Camargo making the most of it. Had a 3-hit game on Tuesday as his first hit of the series with a double to start the 4th inning. Freddie Freeman earlier today, and he's done this just about every day on this homestand, taking a lot of ground balls. And it's interesting to watch because they go through the different disciplines of third base, coming in as he's doing now, the slow rollers, going to the backhand, working in the hole. He's an excellent fielder. I mean, he's one of the best first basemen in the league. How he transfers to third will be interesting.
Yeah, much different for him. I mean, you know, to be a solid defensive first baseman, that's one thing when you don't have to use that arm a whole lot every now and again. But the throw is the big deal at third base.
Well, and how many star players, how many faces of franchise type players offer to change positions when they come back from a disabled list stint?
Right.
I mean, that's an ultimate team player right there. He recognizes that Matt Adams is thriving at first as Garza strikes out Peterson first out of the inning.
Yeah, whatever's best for the team, and that's a good thing. That shows you what kind of guy Freddie Freeman is, getting out of his comfort level. And you really don't know how it's going to affect his offense, trying to learn a new position. It's one thing to do it, you know, 1 year to the next. You know, you have the off season. You know, Robin Yount going from shortstop to the outfield, but that wasn't overnight.
How about Robin winning an MVP as a shortstop, then a
Yeah.
center fielder?
And you had Craig Biggio go from behind the plate to second base.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of different situations like that, but not in the middle of the season so much.
To go from first to third. Sensing that this Braves ball club has enough firepower offensively, they're going to be a lot better when Freeman returns. He's a major weapon at the plate. And if he can play third base just average, I think he'll be an above average third baseman, don't you? I mean, he's going to glove everything.
Yeah, right.
The throwing part will be the real challenge.
You know, positioning, you know, the nuances of playing third base, getting into the cutoff, different things on the double play. He did play third base down in the low minor leagues in 8-ball back in 2007, but never in the major leagues.
5 games career at third base for Freddie Freeman. You start to look around their infield, though, Rock. That's a pretty formidable group. Adams, Freeman on the corners, Phillips, the all-star, multiple Gold Glove Award winner at second base, and then you got the young, rangy shortstop in Dansby Swanson. You can see why the Braves are getting excited about where their franchise is headed now. And they've got a new ballpark. They have money to spend. No balls, 2 strikes to count on the pitcher, Dickey. Runner at second is Camargo. He doubled to start the inning. Cards are trying to leave him right there. Shaw will gobble it up. And a good throw for out number 2. Dickey is retired. That'll take us back to the top of the order and Ender Inciarte. Right now the Braves are 9 back in their division, trailing the Washington Nationals. Nationals are the only team in the National League East with a winning record. They're 44-29. And looking like a runaway train in the NL East. But the Braves have won 3 straight. They're 6-2 on this homestand. Best 3 teams in the NL are in the NL West. Angels, or rather the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Rockies, with the 3 best records. And all separated by 2.5 games.
Yeah, so it looks like the other 2 divisions, if you want to get to the postseason, you're going to have to win it. Unless one of those teams in the West really tanks. Don't see it, though. They're pretty good.
I agree. They all look like they have staying power, don't they?
Yeah.
Diamondbacks, Rockies, certainly the Dodgers. By the way, the Dodgers just lost Hyunjin Ryu, shoulder surgery. Two outs in the inning, 2-0 the count. Inciarte at the plate, and a strike from Garza. 2-1.
Man, pretty good pitch right on the outside corner. A good 2-0 pitch.
Let me make a correction. Not Hyunjin Ryu. Julio Urias.
Yeah, young kid.
Is the pitcher for the Dodgers who needs shoulder surgery. He's out for the year. I misspoke. Garza deals it, and a ground ball out to Perez. And the inning is over. So Garza works around a leadoff double. Puts up a 0 in the 4th. 3-1 Atlanta. Brewers are coming up. We go to the 5th inning. Park includes a sprawling 300-acre outdoor park featuring 44 water slides, 7 roller coasters, and numerous kiddie rides. The centerpiece is its huge wave pool, unleashing 9-foot waves every 90 seconds. Plus, the indoor park offers year-round attractions. Mount Olympus Resort at Wisconsin Dells. All part of our Dells weekend as the Brewers are in Atlanta, Georgia.
Are you a roller coaster guy?
Yeah, I'm in. I like them once.
All of them?
All of them at the same time. I'll do a roller coaster, no problem. My roller coaster of choice when I was a kid was the Judge Roy Scream there in Arlington, right by the ballpark.
Okay.
It was all wood and rickety and
yeah,
felt like it was just going to collapse. What a thrill. Lewis Brinson will lead off for the Crew. Brewers trying to get something going. Scored a run in the first. It's been quiet since. Dickey has faced the minimum since that first inning. Broxton did have a hit in the third to lead off, but a double play wiped out that base hit. Dickey with 2 strikeouts and a broken bat. Brinson on the run. The throw from Swanson in time. 1 gone in the 5th. Here's Orlando Arcia now. He lined out to third his first time up. Hit a bullet right to the third baseman, Johan Camargo. We saw our good buddy Scott Kuykendall here in Atlanta, the sports information director at Marquette. They had a big weekend at Marquette. A lot of former players, coaches came by, and including Tom Crean. Good to see Tom Crean again. There's a shot that's fair, just inside the bag. It'll hit the sidewall, and Arcia on his way to second. Here comes the throw. It is off the mark, and a double for Orlando Arcia. And Rock, he continues to pull the ball with authority.
And again, I mean, you really can't, make any evaluation with a knuckleball. It comes in so slow, but he made the adjustment. The league's starting to pitch him inside, and he's starting to turn on some fastballs. This is a knuckleball. Rips it down the line, out of the reach of Camargo, and there's your man in scoring position for the Brewers. That first one since the first inning.
He could easily be 2 for 2. You think about his last 3 at bats. He doubled in 2 runs yesterday down that left field line. He's at second for Garza.
Yeah, just like the way he has evolved as a hitter, even this year. Not so much this last year to this year, but at the beginning of the year, the first couple of months, he was shooting everything to right, even pitches in on him, and now making the adjustments as the league makes adjustments on him, working him inside and using left field very effectively.
Looked like a fastball from Dickey for a strike. Surprised Garza with an 85-mile-an-hour heater. 1 ball, 1 strike. Garza would love to deliver one here. And he takes a strike. The knuckleball is in there. It's 1-2. Brewers with a man at second. Top of the order coming up next. Dickey making start number 15 here today. Signed as a free agent. He was an early sign as well. The Braves locked him up in November this past off season. And Garza is down on strikes. 3rd strikeout for Dickey. And 2 men are out in the inning. Say you can guarantee your seat for the Bucs' 50th anniversary return to the Mecca game this fall. It's our 43-game Super Pass from Fox Sports Wisconsin. Visit foxsportswisconsin.com/upcoming events for details. Going back to the Mecca. Always a cool venue. Right next door. New arena will be opening for the following season, not next season, the year after. And that construction is coming along well, starting to take shape over there, downtown Milwaukee. At the plate, presented by Wendy's, Broxton is 2 for 2. Both singles. He stole a base in the first inning, scored the lone Brewers run. He's been a hot hitter lately. Productive hitter as well, driving in runs. Snap throw to second, and Phillips scoops it. Garcia back easily. Pitch was called a strike, and Broxton is down 0-2 now.
Not easy to catch that knuckleball and try to be quick. With a throw to the bases. I think he's done a pretty good job today. I really haven't really noticed that there's a knuckleballer out there because Flowers has been really catching everything. Not chasing the baseball around like sometimes you see with knuckleballers on the mound.
Broxton in the air to left field, out to Peterson, almost in his tracks, and the side is retired. Got it a little down on the end of the bat, and the inning is over. Available. Hope all of those guys got those baseballs back. Their first career home run. Matt Garza goes to work. Brandon Phillips leads off. We are in the 5th inning here in Atlanta, and the Braves at the plate. Garza has given up 3 runs. Gave up a run in the first, then 2 in the third. Phillips went deep off Garza, 2-run homer. Garza and R.A. Dickey, the pitching matchup today.
A couple of veterans going at it.
Dickey is through 5 innings. Only giving up the 1 run on 4 hits. That's a called strike 3, and Phillips is rung up.
That's what you have to do. Good quality off speed to Brandon Phillips. Yeah, that one right on the outside corner. Well, he got the call. Might have been off the edge a little bit. Yeah, but close enough to swing at.
One away for Garza. That is his second strikeout. And here is Nick Markakis now. Garza has given up 7 hits and 3 runs all earned at this point. No walks, 2 Ks. And he deals a strike to Markakis. Markakis has 1 of the 7 hits. Single to center field last time up in the 3rd inning. In the air to left, long run for Brinson, and he'll run it down. Lewis Brinson with a great jump and able to make the play for the 2nd out of the inning.
Boy, these 3 guys in the outfield can cover some ground, can they not? Look at those long legs for Brinson, those long strides. Eating up a lot of turf as he gets to that baseball, makes it look easy.
Very accomplished outfielder. Craig Counsell feels like he's going to be an excellent center fielder. Can play all 3 outfield spots and has been playing those spots in AAA.
Yeah, I asked Counsell about Brinson and his outfield play. We saw a lot of him in spring training, but when he got called up, he used a football term. He said he's a very good route runner. In other words, he takes a very good route to fly balls. Not a lot of wasted territory. Goes right to the baseball.
A lot of the defensive metrics that we have in the StatCast era don't really give you a full story. I mean, they're interesting to look at and still trying to perfect the defensive side of the ball and how we measure defensive success. But I do like the routing, route efficiency.
Right.
I think that matters a lot. Gives you an idea who's getting the good reads off the ball, off the bat, and
you can get a sense for the first step, who's taking extra steps to get to a fly ball, the distance that a guy can cover in the outfield. It's incredible these days how much ground they can cover, cut off those gaps, particularly the center fielders in baseball these days.
2-1 to count, and a swing and a long foul.
I don't think most fans realize how much room there is to cover in these major league outfielders with only 3 guys. And they do it pretty well.
Well, the Brewers have some burners out there today. 3 long, lanky, fast outfielders. Brinson, Broxton, and Santana. Two-two to Matt Adams. Matt Garza strikes him out. A foul tip into the mitt. And the best inning so far for Matt Garza. 1-2-3 frame with a couple of punch outs. We go to the 6th in Atlanta. The Brewers are down a pair.
League showdown over Independence Day as the Brewers welcome Manny Machado and the Baltimore Orioles to Milwaukee for a 3-game series. That's Monday, July 3rd through the 5th. To reserve your spot at the Crew's 4th of July face-off with the Orioles, head to Brewers.com today. Already 4th of July, partner. It's going quick.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun.
Say it for the first time this year. The season's going fast.
Time flies when you're having fun, Rock. I just thought that up. Powerball home run leaderboard. Thames with 20 leads the club. He is 5th in the majors in that category. It's going to be an exciting run here. Let's see where the Brewers are going to go with this very interesting season they have been able to assemble at this point. Nobody saw him in this position
except themselves. They expected it. Craig Counsell expects good baseball. No limitations, he said, out of spring training.
Eric Thames leading the way for the Brewers. Santana to follow, then Travis Shaw. I don't think it's as big of a surprise that the Brewers are 40-36 as it is that everybody else in the division has been so bad. That's a swing and a drive into right field that hits the padded wall and played perfectly by Markakis, holding Eric Thames to a single.
Man, just hit it too hard. Yeah, it hit the pad. It helped Markakis, but it hits that brick wall. No telling how it's going to bounce. It's not an easy surface out there, and even, I should say, up on where those bricks are. He just centers on that one, rips it off the padding. And Markakis able to keep him at first base.
That is one major difference from Turner Field to this ballpark. That's a sure double at Turner Field with deep power alleys. But a short porch in right turns that one into a single. Kind of plays opposite of what Fenway with the monster. That wall is not nearly as high. The wall here in Atlanta is 16.5 feet high. But it gives you that same effect, and there's a lot of little jagged edges and nooks and crannies in that brick wall as well. That ball could bounce anywhere.
Hey, get over there where that chain link fence is right there, where all those folks are behind the fence. That can give you an interesting bounce as well. I like ballparks like that. They give you a little bit of a different look, not those symmetrical ballparks that we used to see back in the 70s.
Domingo Santana with a runner at first. Brewers had their leadoff man reach in 2 of the first 3 innings. Number 4 for Dickey. And here comes Travis Shaw. Going to try to sneak a fastball by him. Nope, knuckleball.
Yeah, one might be knuckleball.
I was sign stealing again.
One is the probably the pitch that he throws the most.
See where he caught that one? If he's using a traditional catcher's mitt, that ball probably hits him without putting a glove on it.
You can see the webbing really loose, giving a little bit more surface area.
Shaw in the air, shallow left. Peterson with the glasses on makes the play for out number 2.
You just never know how the knuckleball is going to react when it gets to home plate. Check it out. Right in the webbing, a snow cone, and with a catcher's mitt. That either hits him or goes to the screen.
Only 3 Brewers that ever faced Dickey. Shaw had the most at-bats career against him. Had 14 coming in, actually had homered off Dickey in his career. But the other 2, Nick Franklin and Eric Sogard, not available. At least Franklin has been ejected. You know he's not available. The Brewers would like to stay away from Sogard as well, who left yesterday's game with a tricep injury. Pain down into his elbow. Hernan Perez with a runner at first. 3-1 Atlanta. 2-run homer by Phillips, the difference. Perez on the ground to Camargo. And Dickey is through 6. He works around a leadoff single. Braves 3, Brewers 1. Braves are coming up bottom of the 6th. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Huge fan. I think he just lost, though.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the guy that was running, he was kicking it right here.
Yeah, had a nice finishing kick. I thought this guy was going to be done when he hit the right center field wall, but not to be. The Freeze couldn't fetch him.
That's a great promotion.
I love it. He took a peek right here. Look at him. Nice and smooth, and the Freeze couldn't run him down. Nigel Talton is his name. The backstory on the Freeze is really cool.
Yeah.
I did a little Freeze journalism today. A little investigation.
And
I'll fill you in. You know, I like his goggles. You see what it says on the back?
yeah.
Be nice. Tyler Flowers, a little soft liner out to second base. There is out number 1.
On the back of the goggles, because most guys are going to be looking at that back of the goggles, right?
So, all right, this guy, Nigel,
Yeah.
the Freeze, he works on the Atlanta Braves grounds crew. And this all started because last year, when they would go in the middle of the game to rake around each base, they'd always make Nigel go to third base, which is the furthest juncture. There he is. There's Nigel working the water hose there in pregame. So anyway, the grounds crew guys got a little bet going, and Nigel, not known as the Freeze back then, third base was the furthest distance, so he'd let the guy who had first base, he'd give him a head start to run to first base, rake it, grab the base, replace it, and then bring the base back to the grounds crew's den. So then it turned into this internal bet, and they'd let the guy go, and then Nigel would then race to third, rake it up, and then would go back, and he'd always win. And then the Braves kind of saw what was going on here, and they decided this might be a good promotion. So they turned it into a thing. And Nigel's a legitimate track star. He ran track at Iowa Wesleyan.
I guess.
And is continuing to train and try to qualify for the Olympics. I mean, I don't know if he will or not. I don't know how truly fast he is in that realm, but I got to talk to my guy Lewis Johnson and find out if he's legit. because the Freeze.
Well, line to line's a pretty good run.
Yeah.
I mean,
ground ball to short. Here's Arcia now. And he'll take care of Swanson for out number 2.
I'll tell you, the gentleman that beat him today was pretty good as well. I mean, of course, he got a big head start, but still.
That's the 3rd time he's lost. And I guess the first time he lost was opening day, and they let the guy get almost to center field. They didn't know how fast or how slow everything worked out there. But I think it's really entertaining. It's a gas station here, racetrack. That's the local gas station around, and they're the ones who are reaping the benefits.
That's good for job security for Nigel.
Nigel.
The Freeze.
Double duty.
I was getting ready to say, I mean, if I get a head start all the way to center field, I think I might win, but I'm not even going to say that because I don't think I can make it all the way around right now. At a full sprint.
Yeah, it's hard to beat anybody when you're stopped and you're heaving.
I might be able to power walk him to death.
I mean, you do have a serious power walk. I can't keep up with Rock in his power walk. I actually have to get into a jog.
Yeah.
And he's on the phone, and he's got a lot, you know, he kind of runs over people and small animals and whatnot. Hard to get you off your track on a power walk. 2 outs, 0-2 count. Johan Camargo at the plate. Now, when the Pirates come to town, you just wonder if you could get a race between Mr. Freeze and David Freeze. The Freeze would win that one.
Yeah.
Nigel.
One of them.
It's in my top 3 of mascot races, I'll tell you that.
No doubt.
The famous racing sausages are number 1. The Puffy Taco race, where I spent 9 years in the minor leagues in San Antonio, is number 2. That is an actual mascot dressed up like a taco with jalapeno shoes and everything. And he would actually get tackled between third and home. They'd start a kid at second base, and he just, like, the kid would steer dog the taco to the ground.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, well, you were doing big league things all those years.
That was San Antonio, you said?
San Antonio, the famous.
I played in San Antonio in A-ball. Played the Dodgers in San Antonio. They didn't have mascot races back then.
No, Puffy Taco came along, I think in the 90s, maybe late 80s. It's one of my favorites. Then they felt like they needed a new mascot, so they created a new one called Jalapeno. Get it?
I do.
Like jalapeno, but jalapeno. And he was an actual giant jalapeno. But the taco had the jalapeno shoes and the little tomato hat. 2-2 to Camargo, and he swings and misses, pitches in the dirt. Bandy secures it at first, and the inning is over.
Thankfully.
Top 3 mascot races right here, folks, on the Brian Anderson Index. You got to win them, though, Freeze. Come on, man. I'll talk to you up. reset, and the first inning was busy. The Brewers and the Braves both scoring runs in the first inning. Hernan Perez credited with an RBI for the Brewers. Then Brandon Phillips in a 1-1 game. This was in the third inning, a 2-run home run. Brandon Phillips homering in consecutive games against the Brewers, and that's all it's been. R.A. Dickey, Matt Garza through 6 innings, and it's 3-1 Braves. And Dickey will return to the mound as we start the 7th. Jet Bandy will lead off for the Brewers. It'll be Bandy, Brinson, and Arcia. Brewers trying to get something going offensively here. Bandy is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice.
I tell you, the knuckleballer can, even with the hottest hitter coming into a game, you get a knuckleballer out there, and sometimes that can put you into a little tailspin for a while because you have to really adjust your approach quite a bit. Now, there's a knuckleball that ended up right down the middle of the plate, and just that late movement has Bandy underneath it.
Bandy's just a frustrated hitter right now, and to be in a slump and come back and play against a knuckleball pitcher can't be easy. Bandy, after his last strikeout, fired his bat near the dugout. You can sense he is grinding at the plate. Two to Bandy. Against Dickey today, the Brewers have 5 hits. Keon Broxton has 2 of them. Arcia has a double. Dickey deals, and boy, that was a wicked knuckleball. Did you see that thing?
Yeah, and down and in right at the last minute. And how about Tyler Flowers being able to catch it? Now watch the late movement on this pitch as it gets to home plate. Bingo, straight down and in, and Flowers able to hold on to it somehow.
Wow.
I think he's done a heck of a job behind home plate. He really has.
Not easy to catch the knuckleballer. I don't remember him dropping a single knuckleball yet. Sometimes you can reach base on a 3rd strike knuckleball. It's really impressive the way he catches it, like you're pointing out, but he starts from the ground up.
It's easier to adjust up than it is adjust down. Just like catching a ground ball, right? You start the glove low, bring it up is more of an instinct to you. He never gives a target. He's got that right knee down on the ground. That's just his way. That's how he feels most comfortable, being able to go one way or another.
So unorthodox for a catcher.
And just to let you know, he's not giving a target on a fastball either, because if he did that, he'd be giving it away.
Yeah, good point. Lewis Brinson 0 for 2. Hit one deep to right field in the 2nd inning. Markakis made a nice running catch on him. 0-2 pitch, and the knuckler misses. Dickey used to throw that knuckleball in the mid-80s at times. He still had a fastball that was in the upper 80s. But he's 42. That year he won the Cy Young Award in 2012. I mean, it was something to behold.
20-6 with the Mets.
Never been a knuckleballer like him with that kind of velocity, and still had other pitches. Brinson yanks one. That's off the chest of Camargo. He hung right in there, and he throws Brinson out. Well, you can't ask any more out of a third baseman than what Johan Camargo just offered.
Yeah, giving your body up for the team right there. I mean, a lot of guys are going to play it off to the side. That baseball might end up in left field, but check this out. He sticks his nose right in there, knocks it down, and gets the speedy Brinson at first base.
Oh, that's impressive.
That's the way it's done.
That ball was ripped by Brinson. Yeah. Took one right in the ribs. Tell you what, a pitcher appreciates that more than he knows. So it's Arcia now with 2 outs. Arcia could easily have 2 hits. Camargo robbed him of a base hit in the second. He hit a line drive to third. Well, now that one flooded in at 70, a changeup.
Well, he does throw changeups from time to time. We haven't seen too many today. Handful of fastballs, maybe 1 or 2 changeups, the rest knuckleballs.
At one point, Dickey was in the minor leagues with the Brewers, 2007. He was pitching in Nashville at the time and was the PCL Pitcher of the Year in Nashville as a member of the Brewers 10 years ago. Swing and a miss. Arcia is down on strikes. Dickey has 2 more Ks to give him 6 for the game, and not a whole lot going on against Dickey since that first inning for Milwaukee. We'll take a look at the afternoon of Matt Garza, which got off to a shaky start here today against Atlanta, giving up a run in the first inning, then gave up a 2-run home run to Phillips. But then Rocky settled down. I didn't think he had the staying power to get through 6, but he figured something out, and only 1 hit in the last 3 innings, and he finished the game by retiring the last 9 batters he faced.
Yep, and 12 of the last 13, a quality start for Garza. So, you know, not a whole lot going on offensively for the Brewers against R.A. Dickey. But a good effort by Garza here today as Josh Hader takes over here in the 7th inning. You see his numbers. He's been outstanding. 2 left-handers out in that Brewers bullpen.
First man up is Peterson. He rolls one to short. Arcia's throw, and not in time. Peterson can really run, and even the great Arcia can't make up that ground.
Yeah, once that ball got by Travis Shaw, you figure it was going to be a tough play for Orlando. And coming in and doing the best he could. Bang, bang at first base. The Brewers are certainly going to take a look at it. Not sure if there's enough to overturn it.
Such a good play, though. Peterson booking it down the line.
Just got rid of it very quickly. He was coming in hard, and Craig Counsell wants him to take a look at it here. Apparently he saw something that he feels as though he would be able to get a leadoff out.
So this will be a challenge for Craig Counsell and the Brewers. Crew chief on his way over there. Jerry Meals, joined by the calling umpire, Ed Hickox.
Man, he might be out. Question is there enough?
Tough
Close,
to tell.
Close. Yeah, calling him safe. That didn't take long.
That was quick and decisive. Good.
Not a bad challenge, though, for Craig Counsell. The Brewers can't afford to fall behind any further. Might get lucky, get the out call.
All right, so the call stands. 22nd review. And here is Lane Adams, pinch hitting for Atlanta. Hader pitching in just his 5th game in the big leagues. It's been 2 weeks in the big leagues for Josh Hader. If you're wondering why he's not pitching more, Craig Counsell was telling us before the game, because he's been going in these 2-inning stints or multi-inning stints, they want to make sure he is acclimating to life as a reliever. And that doesn't just include games that he pitches. Also includes when he gets up to come into a game, and we've seen it on a couple of occasions where he's gotten completely loose and ready to come in and then not come in the game. Counsell takes that in mind and account, and
that's a completely different process for him. I mean, getting up more often, using his arm more often than he would as a starting pitcher. And I think long term this year, even if he doesn't finish in the bullpen in the big leagues, I think it's going to help him, keep his innings down, maybe keep his pitches for the season down, working out of the bullpen here in the big leagues. But I'll tell you, he's throwing well. I mean, has been dominating, throwing hard. He's shown a pretty good slider. I think the slider has been what has impressed me so far. Coming up, you got reports that it perhaps could be a little bit inconsistent, but I think it's been a pretty good pitch for him.
Well, that hit he just gave up, that infield hit by Jace Peterson, the first hit he's allowed in the big leagues. Has issued some walks. He's walked 5. Command is really at the crux of what's going to make Hader a dominant left-hander in the big leagues versus an average lefty. He's just wild enough, and the thing that makes him really good and hard to hit is also what can get him into some mechanical problems. He puts that fastball right by Adams.
Yeah, he can get by with that big fastball in a 3-1 count. Got it right by him.
Fastball clocked at 91. Hader's been throwing in the 94, 96 mile an hour range. Bandy wants another one. 3-2 the count. Runner at first. And it's ball 4.
Well, today's time of the game winner is Tiny T's in Germantown, if they call the Brewers. In the next 24 hours, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. That's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. Tiny T's in Germantown.
Say hello to all of our friends in Germantown. Hanging out at Tiny T's today. That feels like a good Saturday afternoon place to hang. Tiny T's. 2 on, nobody out. Hader trying to keep the Braves at 3. Inciarte shows bunt. First and second with nobody out, a single and a walk. Hader in danger of giving up his first run in the big leagues. Inciarte with an infield hit and a run scored. He was on when Phillips went deep. There's another strike. 0-2 the count on Inciarte. Easy to be a fan of this guy. He is a very good player. Braves made a deal with Arizona to get him. That was a nice trade. Native of Venezuela. Feels like he's been around a while, Inciarte, but he's only 26.
He's got a tremendous throwing arm. Not a big guy, but you just don't run on him in center field. For a center field, he's got a plus arm.
Won the Gold Glove award last year.
Yeah, great range.
Second year as a Brave. First 2 in Arizona. 0-2 pitch. Hader just missed. That trade for Inciarte involved Dansby Swanson. They got another player, Aaron Blair. That was the Shelby Miller deal. A wave and a miss. Hader strikes out Inciarte with a big sweeping breaking ball. And his first out is a strikeout. He needed that one.
Yeah, took a little off that pitch. 78 miles an hour. And talk about a defensive swing. That one about a foot off the outside corner, if not more.
This is a big game for Hader in one area. Again, we were talking to Counsell about his acclimation to the bullpen role. Last night, Hader was throwing in the bullpen. He was ready to come in. Matter of fact, had the Brewers tied or taken the lead in the 9th inning, Hader would have been on the mound. So there was a scenario that Hader would have come out to try to close the game. Counsell did say today that he was going to back up Hader with Jared Hughes. Braves were in the part of the lineup with a couple of lefties, and if it was an easy inning for Hader as he's playing it out in his mind, he would have let it ride. Hughes was there had there been any base runners, but he was going to give him that shot yesterday, which is saying a lot.
Yeah.
And so Hader gets completely loose in the pen, fully frothed up, as Craig Counsell says, ready to come into the game. And he didn't pitch.
Yeah.
The game ended. He didn't pitch. And then I asked Craig about, is he available today, in what role, and how do you manage that? And he goes, you know, today's the day we got to find out if he can essentially pitch in back-to-back games. There's a line drive to center field. Broxton coming in, and he'll make the catch. Phillips is retired.
So far, so good, but you know, velocity down a little bit for him. That's the one thing you notice after getting loose in yesterday's ball game. That's the difference between, you know, being a starting pitcher and being able to work out of the bullpen. You have to know how to use those 7-8 pitches you get on the mound when you come in to your benefit. You know, these veteran relievers don't really get completely oiled up down there in the bullpen. They use those final, you know, 7-8 pitches to get loose. And that's going to be the big adjustment if he continues to work out of the bullpen for him, to be able to get loose back-to-back days.
So an important outing. It'll tell Counsell a lot. Hader could be a huge piece in the bullpen if the Brewers carry on here as division leaders. It's that process for Craig Counsell, and he's grinding as a manager. He is trying to find 8 reliable relief pitchers that can be used in various scenarios. Right now, and the way it has been, the Brewers basically have a good bullpen versus a bad bullpen, meaning when things are going well in the game, you have a lead, there's that version, then there's the other version, but it's starting to slowly come around. When a manager can find, it's hard to have all 8 going well at the same time if you're going to carry 8. But when you get locked into that groove, that's when a team can take off, because it allows you to come back like we saw last night. Brewers didn't come all the way back, but they scored in the 9th inning to make it close. 0-2 pitch. Markakis.
And what makes it a little bit more difficult for Counsell is that the Brewers are in just about every game they play. I mean, it's very rare that they win a game and it's not a save scenario. They don't win by 7-8 runs. I mean, it's very close games, and you're using Barnes, Knebel, you know, all the time. And once in a while, you're going to have to get through a game without them when you need them. And that's where the other guys come in.
Markakis mad at himself. Thought he had one to hit.
But it is hard to believe that you have these discussions about, you know, guys not available, and, you know, tough to, you know, your bullpen is in rough shape when you have 8 of them down there. That's a lot of relief pitchers.
Yeah, sure.
It is. And I think every team's going through the same thing. I mean, minimum 7 these days. Most teams have 8. Brewers had 9 at one point.
1-2 the count. Markakis in the air, left field. Coming in is Lewis Brinson. He's got it, and Hader works around. 2 on, nobody out. Retires the next 3 hitters with a strikeout. Has still yet to give up a run as a major league pitcher. But how about those Yankees? They are in a little bit of a tailspin right now. Carlos Gomez is on a major RBI binge for the Texas Rangers, by the way. Rangers are starting to put it together a little bit. Back to 500 with their 8-1 win today. New pitcher is Jose Ramirez, and he will take over for R.A. Dickey, who pitched very well across 7 innings. We are headed for the 8th. And it's going to be Eric Sogard to lead off for the Brewers. He'll pinch hit, and the first pitch is in there for a strike.
Yeah, we saw Ramirez in last night's ball game. Gave up a couple of runs in an inning of work. Couple of walks. It was that Orlando Arcia double down the line that plated a couple of runs.
Sogard's been dealing with this tricep injury down by his elbow. And not in the starting lineup, not available today. Not sure how effective he will be at the plate, but the Brewers already lost Nick Franklin to ejection in the first inning, which knocked it down to a 3-man bench. Craig Counsell's crew is down 2. Lost by a run last night. 6 outs to work with. Sogard, a little bit late, fouls it away. Yesterday, the Braves used Aroldis Vizcaíno to close the game. Jim Johnson is their closer, has been their closer. It will be interesting if we get into that position again in the 9th. If we will see Johnson, if he was just down for a game yesterday, or if there's been a closer change. Johnson has blown 5.
It'd be nice to get a couple of runs here and not have to worry about it.
Sam Freeman, the left-hander, getting loose. You would imagine Freeman would face Thames if a man gets on, and Sogard obliges. He leads off with a walk. So even when he's not starting a game, he is contributing, and a pinch hit appearance earns a walk. Powerball home run count. The Brewers have hit a lot of homers, fastest to 100 in franchise history. And overall, the Brewers with 108 on the year, 3rd in the National League. Keon Broxton has been the big power source here lately, including a home run in yesterday's game. Broxton with 2 hits today.
Man, that's a good take right there. That's the pitch that gives Keon problems, that pitch above the belt or right around the belt with big velocity. He needs to get that pitch down in the zone. Those are the ones that he hits out of the ballpark.
Broxton, a mile high, shallow center. Phillips is back. He'll give way to Inciarte for out number 1. Checking the scoreboard in Miami, the Cubs, who trail the Brewers starting play today by a game and a half. They are playing the Marlins on the road, and the Cubs have now taken the lead 5-3. That game's headed to the bottom of the 8th. So Snitker has his lefty ready, and he's going to bring him on to face Eric Thames. Playing the matchup as the tying run bats. 3-1 Atlanta. Pitching change at SunTrust Park.
For a 3-game series Monday, July 3rd through Wednesday, the 5th. To reserve your spot at the Crew's 4th of July face-off, head to Brewers.com today. Manny Machado, J.J. Hardy coming to Milwaukee.
Yeah, they got a lot of players worth watching. It's a fun team in Baltimore. Orioles are having a down year. They are under 500 this season. They've lost 3 straight. All right, the matchup is set, Rock. Sam Freeman comes in from the Atlanta bullpen. Pitched for the Brewers last year briefly. 7 games as a member of the Brewers last year in April. And he's made his way to Atlanta, and he's made his way into a high leverage situation in the bullpen as he'll face Eric Thames in the 8th.
Yeah, 2 of the next 3 hitters are left-handed, Thames and Shaw, with Santana in between both of them. He came in last night's ball game, gave up a run. He was the guy that hit Eric Sogard last night.
And a big hack by Thames. Thames is at 20 homers, 5 of them against left-handed pitching. This feels like a ballpark tailor-made for Eric Thames. No balls and a strike, and a check on Sogard. Thames' last home run came on the last homestand against San Diego. Had that walk-off home run. Went a stretch of 4 straight days with a home run.
I would imagine he's excited to get into Cincinnati next week.
That's his spot.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He's got 8 home runs against the Reds. A lot of them coming in Cincinnati.
Those are the numbers for Thames. I said 5, 6 home runs against left-handed pitching. Oh, and 2 the count on Thames, and he got him. Freeman strikes him out.
And went with the breaking pitch. Got him to chase off the outside corner.
Good job by Flowers. Keeps it in front, keeps a runner at first. 2-run lead, and manager Snitker is going to let it ride with Freeman with 2 outs in the inning. Got a left-hander due up next in Shaw.
Man, the advantage of having that right-hander in between your 2 powerful lefties.
All by design for Counsell. This is the matchup he wants right here. I guess first, Counsell believes in his left-handed hitters. He's confident in his lefties to hit left-handed late inning pitchers, late game pitchers. But the bonus is you get a Freeman-Santana matchup. Santana, the tying run, in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pretty even splits for Santana, lefties and righties. A lot more at-bats against right-handers.
And the home run percentage per at-bat greater against left-handed pitching, just not facing as many. 1-1 the count. Sogard at first. Santana out in front.
All off speed, couple of sliders and a changeup.
Sweeping breaking ball by Freeman. Well, he's got Santana in a hole at 1-2. The Brewers are desperate for a big hit. Trailing by 2 in the 8th inning. And he got him. Defensive swing by Santana. Side retired. Freeman comes in, picks up a couple of strikeouts to end the 8th. Braves are coming up in the bottom of the 8th. in the Dells. I'm sure it'll be in and out of there in no time. Oliver Drake is on the mound for the Brewers as we go to this bottom of the 8th inning. The split finger specialist Oliver Drake facing Matt Adams to start the frame. Tyler Flowers to follow, then Swanson.
Yeah, Drake last pitched for the Brewers on Wednesday against the Pirates. He picked up a win, in that ball game on Wednesday. A scoreless 7th inning with a couple of strikeouts.
Adams takes high. 94 on the fastball. Sogard stays in to play second base. And Hernan Perez will move out to right field. Swing and a miss. Drake strikes out Adams. Went back to the fastball, which he's been doing a lot more of here lately. And his fastball has a little more life than most expect. That one in there at 93 miles an hour.
Yeah, and had plenty of the plate that time too. I mean, I guess if you're looking for a pitch against Drake, you're looking for that splitter, and all of a sudden he throws that fastball with good location. A lot of his strikeouts lately, you're right, have been on the fastball.
He's got him thinking splitter, and he's pitching backwards. Brewers bullpen's actually been pretty good here lately. Brewers won 4 out of 7 on the last homestand. They're trying to avoid going down 0-2. Last 5 games, Rock, the Brewers pen has not allowed an earned run.
Yeah, look at the strikeouts. 19 of them in a little over 14 innings of work. Able to throw a lot of strikes, only 4 walks.
That includes the relief work today. Matt Garza went 6 innings. Josh Hader worked a scoreless 7th with a strikeout. Derek Johnson and Lee Tunnell, the bullpen coach, working hand in hand with these pitchers.
Hader looks good out of the bullpen. He really does. I mean, he got himself into a bind with a hit and a walk, and it really didn't seem to bother him too much. Got out of it without a run scoring. He's got a good demeanor. I mean, just talking to him in the clubhouse, and just seems very calm and relaxed. Doesn't seem to get overwhelmed at all.
Looks like he belongs. Top pitching prospect in the Brewers system. That's in there. There's that splitter by Drake from the U.S. Naval Academy, the only one in the big leagues from the Naval Academy. Two and two the count. Flowers the batter. Brewers down 3-1, and a fastball missed, not by much.
I think Flowers going to sleep pretty well tonight. That day game after a night game, catching the knuckleballer. That's always a little stressful.
He did a good job. He didn't miss one of them. And a fastball got him. Surprised him again with the heat. Back-to-back hitters get caught guessing. And 2 gone in the 8th inning on 2 strikeouts from Drake.
Yeah, it is amazing how many guys these days guess with even with 2 strikes. That one right down the middle. Fastball, good pitch, looking for splitter. Right down the middle for the strikeout.
All right, 2 away. Here is Dansby Swanson. Looking ahead to the Brewer 9th inning, it'll be Travis Shaw, Hernan Perez, Jet Bandy. Counsell has 1 man left on his bench. Actually 2, but probably the only one you'd see would be Aguilar next inning. You might see Manny Pena. He's already used Sogard, and Nick Franklin has been ejected.
Yeah, when you're down, you really can't save anybody for later on, especially in the 9th inning. So Pena, he is in play if it gets down that far in the batting order, if you need him.
Probably see Aguilar hit for Bandy, I'm guessing, if you want to play manager. And then if the inning continues and you get to the pitcher spot, then you'd still have Pena remaining. He's already mapped that 9th inning out. Now just trying to get Drake through this inning, and still a 2-run deficit. There's strike 2. For whatever reason, these Braves are not biting on the Oliver Drake fastball. Two the count. On the ground through, a base hit.
That's splitter, right? They were looking for that pitch. He threw it, and Dansby able to single in the right.
You can almost think along with Drake. You know, at some point, you're thinking, I don't know, can I throw 3 straight fastballs to get out of this inning? They're probably going to be looking for a fastball now.
Yeah, a little jam shot in the right. That was a good one, too. Good pitch down.
It's a good piece of hitting. That will bring up Johan Camargo, the switch hitter. That was a nasty splitter. Crashing to the ground. Camargo missed it by a foot. By the way, that hit by Swanson extends his hitting streak to 8 straight. He's at first for Camargo, and a swing and a miss. Fastball this time. Drake's got him 0-2, and he punches him out, and he goes to the fastball this time. Strikes out 3 in the inning, all with the heat. Shaw ready to lead off. Perez to follow, then Bandy due up. Brewers down a pair. We go to the 9th. Saw the bald eagle before the game. That was a cool sight. Brewers are hoping to steal one from the Braves here in game 2. They find themselves down 3-1. And we have answered one question. Braves are not changing closers. Looked like Jim Johnson just had a day off yesterday. He is right back on the horse today, and he'll try to finish this one off for Atlanta as the Brewers bring up Travis Shaw to start it. 3-1 is the score. The Braves took the lead in the 3rd inning on a Brandon Phillips 2-run homer, and they have made it hold up. Johnson with a big breaking ball in there for a strike on Shaw. Johnson's not an overpowering fastball pitcher. He relies on the sinkers, the ground balls.
Yep. He's had 5 blown saves this year. That included a few days ago against the Giants. But did have a save on Thursday against San Francisco, although he did give up a couple of runs.
5th blown save. Braves have blown 12 saves this year. And a fastball right by Shaw. He rode it up and in on Travis Shaw. There is out number 1, a strikeout here in the 9th. Miller Lite, what's on tap? We'll do it again tomorrow afternoon, and we're on the air at 12:30 local time, 11:30 in Milwaukee in the Central Time Zone. Zach Davies and Julio Teheran. Miller Lite, what's on tap? 11:30 airtime. This one starts here at 12:35 in Milwaukee. There's a little tapper to third. Here comes Camargo, and he makes another nice play. And 2 quick outs in the 9th inning for Jim Johnson. This guy's a player over there at third base.
Yeah, he can move around pretty well. Question is he going to be able to hit? He has got no problem handling third base. Good hands, good range, good throwing arm.
So the Brewers down to their last out, and it'll be Jesus Aguilar to try to extend this game. Aguilar trying to get Lewis Brinson to the plate. He'll hit next. Johnson, like many sinker ball pitchers of a few years past, has redirected to the top of the strike zone. Very similar to what Jared Hughes is trying to do right now with the Brewers. Those are windows that guys like Jim Johnson rarely pitched in until the last couple of seasons.
And a low strike has not been a pitch that umpires have been calling on a regular basis. So you got to adjust as opposed to falling behind an account.
1-1 to Aguilar. Inside, almost hit him. 2 balls and a strike. Brewers need a base runner. Trying to bring the tying run to the plate. 2-2. Down to their last strike in front of 38,000 plus. Aguilar muscles one into right field. Markakis coming in, can't get it. Bounces in front of him. And Jesus Aguilar with yet another base hit as a pinch hitter. This guy has been terrific off the bench for the Brewers.
Yeah, muscles one out there in the right field. That's his 11th hit as a pinch hitter. And able to fight that one off. Markakis playing deep. Got a late break on it. And not able to come up with it. So the tying run does indeed come up. Brewers still alive.
11 for 33 as a pinch hitter this year, Jesus Aguilar. Tied with Ichiro for the most pinch hits in the NL. Well, now the Brewers are in a position. Tying run at the plate. Brinson takes a fastball strike. 24-year-old prospect. He's got 2 weeks in the big leagues, and he is up in a big spot here in Atlanta.
And Johnson doesn't give up many homers. He's only allowed 2. That sinking fastball.
Brinson does have big power. Oh, had a big swing, and he is now down. No balls, 2 strikes. Now they're up. Again, the Brewers down to their last strike. Good take by Brinson. See what Johnson has in mind. 1-2 pitch, and did he go? He did, and the ball game is over. The Braves win for the second time in this series. Jim Johnson picks up the save, makes a winner out of R.A. Dickey. Save number 15 for Jim Johnson. Brandon Phillips, a 2-run home run that proves to be the game winner. That came back in the 3rd inning. So the Brewers have dropped the first 2 in this series. They'll try to salvage one in the final game tomorrow afternoon here in Atlanta. Time now for Brewers Live. Let's check in with Jeff Grayson. He's standing by in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studio.